In the second part of this video tutorial, we will examine additional DoDesign features and finish creating our template in the Building Edge editor. In part 1 of the tutorial, we left off by showing how to animate a label so that it can transition between open and closed states. Now, let's look at how to animate an image. As before, drag the intake damper status value to the image field of component properties. Then, in the image library, drag the closed state and open state images over. Now, if we click between them, it will show those two elements. Next, click Save and export the project as a zip file. This will be loaded into the Building Edge editor. In the Building Edge editor, we have an AHU Type 1 inlet only. First, let's add a detailed view for the AHU we have just created. Select AHU Type 1, then click Import to import a fresh version of it. Open the zip file, then click Update. From here, we can link our graphical templates, which contain our actual animations with our points. Here, for example, we have the intake damper status, which corresponds with the intake damper status value we looked at before. Click the intake damper status element. Then, click the value we would like to link, in this case, inlet damper. Under mapping value in percentage for the closed state type 0 and 0, then click each of the bracket symbols to close them. For the open state, type 0 to 100 and close the brackets. If we click the view symbols, we can see the open and closed states in our graphic, as well as their labels. Let's look at how the value we entered changes the animation. From the BuildingPro Vision app, we can open our AHU by clicking Assets, HVACs, AHU Type 1 Inlet Only. Here we can see our AHU, which we will enlarge with the two arrows in the top right. Next, from the BuildingPro Editor, click the Debug tab and let's open the damper to 10%, or any value above 0. That will open our intake damper. Here, you can see various other point containers for extract fan status, intake filter status, and intake temperature. Let's start with the intake temp value, which is linked here into the text property. We have also created the point intake temp mapped. To do this, click New, and then select the in direction as mapped. By doing it this way, if we add another point that is linked to this field, we can then link that with the label at the opacity level and configure the values of the true and false state as 0 and 1. We can then cause them to appear and disappear as shown. So why is this used? Mapped means that if the graphic is not linked to a point, it will disappear automatically. For example, you can create a very sophisticated graphic with multiple sensors and map them in this way, and if you don't connect them at the building edge level, they will disappear. This ensures you do not need several versions of our air handling unit. For fan status, for example, we have also added an animation of the fan rotation. In the component properties, you can see that our extract fan status value is linked to an image, but also to a rotation property. Within this property, you can have several different types of rotation. We have chosen speed 3 anti-clockwise, but you could choose another option here, such as speed 1 clockwise. We also created an animation for the bag filter on the intake. This is connected to an image which can show a clean or dirty filter together with the label. On the detail view with graphics, the extract fan status is connected to the same damper command as the intake temp, so those two graphics will open and close at the same time. There is also an intake temp that is connected to the inlet temp. Intake filter status is mapped with the bag filter status. Lastly, the extract fan status also has on and off states, with the LED displaying green and red. Let's have a look at our graphic once more. If we click Debug, then Networks, we can see all our points configured. We can modify various settings here, and they will update in the detail view. You can see some examples on screen now. Lastly, let's look at how an element disappears in the graphic if it is not connected within BuildingPro Edge. For example, let's select Intake Temp. Click on Intake Temp and delete it. Click Save, then refresh the page with your graphic. As you can see, the Intake Temp element has disappeared as soon as it had no longer had a mapped point. That covers the second part of the DoDesign tutorial within the Building Edge application. For more information, please email globalsbs.support@abb.com.